Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys, I'm about to be talking fast and I'm about to be all over the map because this is about to be a Real Housewives of Atlanta and Married to Medicine kind of a mashup because I have to leave for out of town in like an hour. So I have to record this and upload it to YouTube and get out of here. So I'm just going to try to get my opinion on what happened. Real Housewives of Atlanta, the um, the reunion part two didn't really give anything. It's just more the same. Yeah, I'm bored with it. Like, I'm glad we're about to be on the third one. That's the final one, right? Right? Because it needs to be over. Like, I'm over all these women pretty much. Well, Marlo and Sonya, and of course Drew. Even though Drew didn't get on my nerves as much as she did before, so I'm gonna give Drew a little grace. But all right, let's get started. And I'm not gonna go like segment by segment. I'm just going to try to see what I can remember. All right, so the episode pretty much starts off where it left off with Marlo still with the cry voice, but no real tears actually, but the cry voice. And we all know that Kenya interrupted and she had to say something, and she's just like, listen, she gives her sob story. However, she say or says some of the most hurtful, nastiest things to people. And she was talking about Candy and we know all the nasty stuff Marlo said. And she's like, really? I said that? And then, of course, they show a playback where she said that. And I'm like, girl, you know you said that. And I just want to say I watched Watch What Happens Live with Candy last night. And she she said that she felt like it was rehearsed, and I did too, especially when she went down the aisle and was like, I'm sitting here with an Olympic gold medalist, old, I'm about to call her Miss USA. Was she USA? I don't care. I really don't care. But it was something like that. And y'all know what I'm talking about when she was going down the whole line or whatever. Candy thought it was rehearsed. I thought it was rehearsed. I just feel like I'm just so over Marlo. And it seems like Andy is totally snowed by her. And I'm sure he's going to give her another chance to redeem herself. I am almost positive of it. All right, so we end up talking about the whole thing with the breaking in. We're not going to go over it. It played out in social media with Kenya saying it would have been nice if she would have let the girls know, like had a conversation with us. We could have came up with something to keep everybody safe because apparently Drew had a situation. We know Candy had a situation, and now Marlo. So, okay, there's that. Then Andy asked Marlo about putting her nephews out. And she's like, well, I think it's because I used the word kick them out and maybe I shouldn't have used those words. So, of course, once again, we hear the feedback from the ladies talking about how it's just kind of hypocritical how, you had a place. Candy goes into the whole thing of how you said you love this place, you felt at home with this place, and they gave you nice things or whatever. And then suddenly they were just like, okay, you got to go. And that is when you turned and started acting a fool. And then you turn around and do the same thing to your nephews. You give them all this luxury, you take them to parties, dress them up, and then say, y'all got to go. And she, of course, she's just like, we know Marla and how she just doesn't want to own anything. I'm trying to think if she ever says, yeah, I should have. No, she actually doesn't. She says that she needed a break. And she's like, maybe I just should have worded it where I need a break. And I'm like, a 30-day break. But I mean, the way she kept saying it, and then they was talking about how she was talking about her, I think it was a viewer question or a viewer comment talking about how she really dogs out her nephews or whatever. Or maybe it was Kenya. And she did. And she does, like she says just shit that's going to come back to haunt them later on. These boys are in what, junior high, high school? She was doing way too much. All right, let's see what else we're talking about. I'm trying to get it going, you guys, so I can get to Married to Medicine. So Andy talks to the ladies about the production pulling receipts all the time. He's like, yeah, Sheree, they were all over you. And Marlo's like, yeah, you tell one lie. And then they come up with the, they pull the receipts. And he's like, are y'all scared now that you have to tell the truth? And Marlo and them are like, yeah. And King is like, no, because some people don't care about receipts. They just want to lie. And Marlo rolled her eyes. Then we talk about Drew and Ralph and how they got roasted. And she, the whole gaslighting thing. And she's like, yeah, he was very bothered because it was like a whole movie. And I'm like, was it a movie? Is she talking about the montage that the producers put together about him being a gaslighter? But Andy ends up asking her, did you not really not know what the term gaslighting means? And she was just like, oh, I knew what it meant, but I just didn't know in terms of with him. But then after I saw it, I was like, And I'm like, girl, you ain't know what you had no idea. But okay, that's that for that. He asked Sheree was she tired of being clowned about the spring, summer, September stuff. She said it became a bit much or whatever, but she takes it all in stride. And I'm like, 'cause she don't give a shit. She don't give a shit. She don't give a shit about Sheree. She don't give a shit about you people. She don't care. And then y'all know what I thought about? Can y'all imagine buying something from Sheree and actually waiting on your package? I don't trust her. I don't trust her to send my shit out. There's no way I would buy anything from Sheree. And Funky Dineva also had a point. She's like, he's like, no, she was with Tyrone or whatever, and they're scammers. I would not be giving up my credit card. And I'm like, damn, you got a point on that. But that aside, just imagine the shipping and the issues and the fact that she just don't follow through with shit. So I would love to see people who actually get their stuff from her. I really would. Can you imagine her having it all together in terms of packaging and labeling and shipping? I love to see it, honestly. All right, I really am just gonna go off of what I remember, you guys, because I gotta hurry up. We really do. I mean, we really do. We go back to Kenya and the fact that everybody's thinking she was in a brand new place this season, which we all said she was much happier. She was much lighter, not being the villain. And Drew said, "Yeah, when I saw you on Dancing with the Stars, that you were like glowing. There was just like this happy glow around you, and that's why I wanted to give our friendship a second chance." And Kenya was like, "Thank you for that." So then, of course, Sonya got to get into it as well or whatever, and they talked about her really making a big thing about Kenya coming as a single, and don't forget it's couples, don't forget it's couples. And she's like, "Well, I was only doing that because when we went to New York, she said if I knew it was a couples trip, then I would have brought somebody, like she had somebody." So, and yeah, but she said when she watched it back, and I'm gonna give her this because yeah, you were doing this shit, like you were telling was it Marlo and Sheree, yeah, it's a +1. You can bring whoever. That ain't what you told Kenya. You just kept saying couples, couples, couples. And she's like, yeah, when I watched it back, I did do that, but I didn't mean to. Bitch, bye. Carisha, please. You did it on purpose. And so we go through that whole thing. She apologizes. Kenya says fine. Then we talk about Kenya hanging up on her. And I'm like, I'll allow it. Like she deserved to be hung up on. And when Kenya told her to get out my face when she was at that car window, I loved it. But Kenya said that her grandma, when she hung up on her grandma before her grandma came and beat her ass, and then Andy's like, "What if Sonya would have came and beat your ass?" And I'm like, "Okay, Andy, you're pushing it. Calm down." But we also learned that Kenya was very happy and very emotional about Dancing with the Stars because she used to go to recitals. She used to, do things with her grandmother in terms of dancing. She always wanted to dance for her grandma, and she said this was kind of in honor of her. So, very sweet part. Okay, I'm trying to think so I can wrap it up. I gotta go. I know y'all tired of hearing how I gotta go, but I gotta go because I wasn't gonna do it. But then I'm like, I got a whole week of not doing reviews, so I don't know. Like I'm gonna feel real bad. I was just thinking about it all night. Like, damn, you should have did it last night. You should have did both of these last night. So I'm just trying to do something before I go because I don't think I'll be able to do anything this week. All right, let's go. Let's keep going. All right, you guys. So then Martell ends up calling Sheree, and I'm like, weird. But they answer. Kenya's like, call her back, Martell. Andy takes the phone. It's a FaceTime. And, they speak to him. Sheree says, I'll call you back. And I'm like, that is not her boo. Like, please stop with this whole thing. So then Andy's like, oh, Sheree, he's a 10 out of 10. As if you didn't already know what Martell looked like. Okay, Martell is a looker. Yes, he is. He's nice looking, but his whole attitude, demeanor, narcissism, like everything, the way he thinks, the way he acts, everything makes him so unattractive. And I'm not even kidding. Like he comes off as somebody no one would want to really touch because he's an asshole. He's trying to, correct his image this season, but we know that it's still there. Like look at the countless interviews he's done where you could tell by the way he talks, the way he truly, truly thinks. And he's allegedly an asshole. Um, so Kenya then says, oh, well, I heard that D is a 10 out of 10. Inappropriate. Sorry, Kenya. You, my girl, been riding with you, but that's inappropriate. So if she really is sleeping with this man, I'm sorry. Don't talk to me about his D. It's not funny. It's not appropriate. Don't do it. So they laughed about that. I didn't think it was funny, but It's fine. Sheree was like, she can't confirm nor deny. And I'm like, yeah, because you're not sleeping with him. You are just not. Ugh, the whole thing is tired, and I hate the fact that we're about to let this play out. At least we know it's about to play out on Love and Marriage Huntsville because they're about to talk about Sheree. I'm just so over it. We get to Sonya's part, and yeah, there's nothing. Let's move on. All right, so I really am gonna wrap up Real Housewives of Atlanta. Nothing really happened except Kenya said that Marlo's name is not really Marlo, it's Latoya or something like that. Marlo's like, that was my friend. We talk about all the times that Marlo has been arrested. She said the last time was in her 20s. Okay, whatever. And you said she went to prison. She's like, I went to jail. I did not go to prison. Y'all, I just get a kick out of the fact that I think Kenya just be saying shit to get up under her skin. Like, but it's funny stuff. It's fun shade. Whereas Marlo goes below the belt to get up under her skin. But Kenya just be spouting out bullshit to get up under Marlo's skin. It be working too. Okay, so that's that with that. Let me try to see at least how it ends, and then we'll go from there. And then we're gonna go to Married to Medicine because y'all, they clowned. They clowned, even though I fell asleep on the end. But they was clowning on Married to Medicine. Okay, very last thing here. We talk about the assistant who Sheree has in her phone as assistant. If he wasn't your assistant, then why do you have him in as assistant? She said she put in people's titles. And I'm like, well, that would be a title. Whose assistant was he then? And she's like, I got like 17 assistants. I have, lawyers. I have this thing, that thing, or whatever. Okay, fine. They took that. So, what's her name? Drew comes out with a tape of him talking to Ralph saying that he never said he was gay or whatever. And he don't know what she's talking about. Then Sheree FaceTimes him and he's like, yeah, I may have said it, I just don't remember, and no, you don't owe me money, and like he was just kind of going back on everything he told Drew. Excuse me. And we know that he said stuff on the show, like, so he's just coming off as a flip-flopper, a liar, a shit starter, just a messy. So that's why I was all here for when Andy was hanging up on his ass and he was just like, okay, thank you, we need it, thank you. Andy's not here for him, and I'm not either. I just hope that we can be done with him. Like, he's all over the map and we don't really care. It doesn't even matter. All right, so that's it for that. Let's go to Married to Medicine, you guys. All right, y'all. Married to Medicine picked up where they left off, where we know that what's her name, Audra, got up and she's calculating Toya's $1 million that she's claimed that she got out of selling her home. And we know she's a real estate attorney, so she knows how to find all this. She talks about her, was it 4 or 7 liens or whatever on the house. And it was a moment that it kind of flopped to me. Like, the whole thing, nobody seemed to care. Like, we already knew that Toya was full of shit, so you didn't really have to go through all that. But I get it. Like, she was just over Toya fucking with her, and Toya definitely was fucking with her. Like, she's telling her how to dress, and I can't believe you wore Champion when we were out of town, and why do you have on jeans? Why can't we wear jeans? And I'm like, bitch, it's dressed down every day for you. You don't have to wait till Friday to dress down and wear jeans. Toya, wear jeans whenever you want to. Who cares? Why are you all over this girl? And then we find out how young Audra and her husband are. I really like them together. I like their relationship. And the fact that they were like, oh, he said, I'll wear my smoker's jacket next time. But that was from last episode, which I didn't talk about. So I'm just kind of incorporating a little bit of everything. And y'all, I found it interesting that when Anila came in with the 2 women, what's her name? Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly did walk up to them and speak. And she said, oh, y'all don't start no shit up in here. Like, don't come in here being messy. So I am kind of on Dr. Heavenly's side in terms of telling Toya that. Because, okay, this is somebody who, they don't get along all the time, but she's been on this show with her for years and years. Like, maybe there's a little bit of loyalty where it's like, damn, she's bringing these girls to be messy and be in your face, and I'm not going to let you be the butt of the joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that everybody was like, oh, she was a mess, she shouldn't have said anything throughout this whole episode, and maybe that's true, but flip side, she addressed it as soon as she saw them. So I feel like she really felt like these girls was coming to fool with Toya and make her look stupid or whatever. So Toya, it's so funny when she told Toya turns around and she's like, "Which one of you bitches said I was sleeping with somebody? I'll put my shoe in your face." And she sounded like she really would. Like, and nobody was owning up to it. They were all like, "I didn't say it. Did you say it? I didn't say it. No, no, no." Now suddenly everybody's very scared. And I also feel like, but I think she's still in the same gated community, right? Because I was going to say maybe these women are the reason why she wanted to up and leave, because she got into it with some of everybody in the neighborhood already. Like, damn, you were only there a year and you can't get along with nobody. But I think she may still be in the same community. But we have that, and then we have Toya's friend who looked pissed off when she first came in, and I clocked it on the episode as soon as she came in. I'm like, damn, who is that? Like, who's she mad at? Like, she was mad coming through the door. So we have her, going back and forth with Anila, and Dr. Heavenly said that on her review, she said that they ended up getting into it and she ended up laying hands on Anila, but they cut it out. And I'm like, that's interesting that they would cut out a whole fight. I mean, we like fights. We do. So I don't know. I mean, and she ain't got no reason to lie though. Throughout the whole thing, Dr. Jackie is just sitting there like, So, what ends up happening is everybody's getting up, what's her name? Dr. Simone is trying to get Toya to leave. Let's go, let's go. So she's standing up and they're talking. I can't remember Dr. Eugene came in and they're like, you better tell. I think Contessa was like, and I'm like, Contessa, you can shut the hell up, okay? Because we don't want to hear anything from you if it's not about you and Scott. Let us know what the hell's going on with y'all now. Like, it's so funny that nobody mentions her whole drama from that. Do y'all understand how she deflected off of that for real, for real? It makes me sick. But and then I don't even understand what Dr. Contessa be wearing now. Like, when they went out to eat or whatever, the fuck was that she had on? I mean, she's just going through something. But she tells Toya, you better tell Eugene, which I agree with that. You better tell Eugene before it comes out, a different way. So Toya runs up to Eugene. She's like, baby, they saying I fucked somebody in the neighborhood. And he's like, what? And she's like, yeah, Neela and whatever, Anise, whatever her name is, the other girl. And he's just like, whatever. And then she's like, oh, and her talking about Audra. She's like, oh no, first, then, Anila's mom comes up and she's like, what's going on? And Toya's like, your daughter is running around telling people I'm sleeping with people in the neighborhood. And she's like, what? No, Anila, stop it. Stop it. I'm like, Anila, when are you going to learn to stop bringing your mama? Stop bringing your mama places to parties and everything. I think Anila knows that without her mom, people enjoy her mom. I do not enjoy her mom. Like I said last season, I think her mom is a bit much, but, without her mom or Karen, she has nothing. This whole I can't take care of my kids is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous storyline and it makes you look awful. Like, take care of your goddamn kids. She ends up, just to wrap them up, she ends up telling her mom, this isn't working out. My house is nasty. You're not cleaning up. You got to go. Okay, fine. Then, so she's standing there and they're talking to Eugene. She's talking to Eugene and she's like, oh, and Audra she goes to run our background and try to find out my income and all that. And he's like, what? And then Audra walks up and she's like, she's acting like she was our real estate attorney. And she's like, but I'm a real estate, I can pull it and all that. And Toya's like, but we didn't hire you, bitch. We didn't hire you. So they going back and forth. And then you guys, Audra stepped in her face and she kept doing it. And she kept booby bumping her. You know how you head bump somebody? She kept bumping her with her boobs. And I'm sorry. So y'all know I don't see it for Tacky Toya at all. But I'm on her team with this one. Don't, are you kidding me? Like, you hit me first because you hit me with your boobs on purpose. And no, that's not cute. So she kept doing it to Toya. She's literally all in her face. And then Toya just muffs her. And it's so funny because even when they played the playback, Toya muffed her like it was nothing. Like, bitch. And she just muffed her real quick. And then she was really trying to get at Toya. And she was trying to bop. She was trying to give us some bops. You could see. But she couldn't get to her because everybody was holding her back. But my thing is, you deserve that muff. I'm sorry. You were all up in her face. You bumping her with your boobs or whatever. Who do you think you are? Where do you think you are? Girl, no. So Yeah, I don't know. Like, is Audra off the show now because she touched her first? Do we know? Is she still on the show? Does she continue throughout the season or whatever? Do they even do that here? Where if you put your hands on somebody, then you gotta go. It's automatic. You're out. I don't know, but I just know that Audra, in my opinion, was in the wrong, and I hate it because I did like her and her husband, and I wish she would have just been a little more classy with her comebacks with Toya because you're smarter than Toya. You could have outsmarted her in other ways. Like, this was just too much. All right, so then we have the cutest scene with Quad, Mason, her mom. Mason's mom comes over and they show a flashback of when they used to live with her. And I do remember Mason's mom. And it's so funny. Quad was like, we talked about y'all cleaning up this and that. And she said, I think we may need to have another talk. And I'm like, who says that? Like, she's telling you right now, this is the talk, ma'am. Get your shit together. But I love the way that they all came together, and really, it was her brother's birthday, heavenly birthday, and they came and honored him. They let go of the lanterns with the fire and everything. It was very beautiful. I myself would have been terrified to let go of fire lanterns right above my house. I'm just not gonna do it. We gotta go to the park. We gotta go somewhere else, not by my house. Excuse me, but it was very beautiful. So then in the end, I hear that Anila's house was broken into, and Quad kind of alluded to the fact that maybe Toya had something to do with it. I personally don't think Toya would do that. I mean, of course, you never know people or whatever, because they also said, and I'm saying they because I watched the reviewer. That's how I know it happened. So they said that Toya was just like, well, this happens maybe when you lie on people, this and that or whatever. So she didn't have any empathy or sympathy. Like, she didn't care. She was fuckless, but I don't think she would do something like that. Like, I really don't. Why would you do that? So that was the end of that. And you guys, I keep getting nervous looking at this time. I gotta go. And I will see you guys next week. I promise I'll be back. And all right, I will miss each and every one of you. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you in the Beautiful People family. And I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches!